He was very fast, and he's a skillful boxer. So ratings to him, he did what he had to do. But I think I could do better.
Joe, a lot of people speculated about your weight. You'd done that because we knew coming into this fight that Zhang's a big puncher.
Yeah.
He's heavy-handed, he's a big man. And we thought you might approach it like you did against Daniel Dubois, where you didn't take much punishment at all.
Yeah.
And again,
I mean, I would have loved to approach it like I did Dubois, and I did try to, but the difference...
Big cap.
Dubois is not southpaw, he's orthodox.
Don't matter.
And so Zhang, being a lot more experienced than Dubois as well, by the way, he's a good southpaw, good counter puncher in southpaw. He was fast, he was powerful. It was a hard. I found out the hard way, and
yeah. What was it?
And that stopped my vision, and then obviously led to the fight being stopped.
Going into the fight, was there a game plan?
Yeah.
What was it?
Well,
There weren't one, bro. Stop. You know what I mean? Tell the truth.
Well, there's slight changes to it as well, which at the last moment, like there was one, to stay away from. It's difficult to say to approach, like to tell you the exact game plan because it's quite complicated.
There weren't one, bro.
Different things.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't really thought about it since the fight. But like the game plan was to win the fight.
Yep.
And I didn't deliver that. So like back to
What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Big shout out to my doggy, Daz UK, for coming through and boosting up the coin. So we just heard there from Big Joe, and this is exactly what I expected to hear. No game plan. That's exactly how it looked. And in fact, I heard anecdotally that Joyce was in the changing room, saying to Salas, "Oh, show me what I need to do to avoid the left hand." What have you been doing for 6 months? If your fighter's asking you how to avoid the number one thing you should have been training on in the changing room, there's something fundamentally wrong there. Bottom line. Now, well, it is what it is. It's done now, but I think this rematch is going to go bad, truth be known, if Joe keeps his same team. Because they've had so many... Every single fight, he get hit with the same shot. Particularly with the southpaws. You can go back and watch the Usyk fight. And there wasn't a game plan. I don't believe they actually had a game plan. That's the God honest truth. I don't believe there was a game plan from what I was seeing. It looked like... In fact, not looked like. The facts are... And I heard this myself. Ismail Salas was in the corner shouting, "Go Juggernaut, go Juggernaut." Like, that's advice. Go Juggernaut. So I do believe Joe got a bit lost in the sauce. But really, it's not... A fighter's responsibility is to be ready to go. Joe was ready to go. It's a trainer's responsibility to have him ready to go on the right things. Yeah? If you're ready just to go Juggernaut and run forward, reach in the air, which is effectively what happened, just kept running in. It wasn't working. It's a trainer's job to say, "Joe, if you haven't clocked yourself yet, we're just walking into shots here." After round 2, especially Joe, for the first time in his career, was out on his feet. Bottom line. I don't even know what... Got to be truthful here. The referee half saved Joe in that second round. For whatever reason, he got a stand-in 8 count. If Zhang had jumped on him, I don't know what happened. Do you know what I'm saying? So, let's be real here. After round 2, the Juggernaut chin is on stilts. Why is Ismail Salas talking about Juggernaut for? The game plan should have been, like the guy mentioned, and I'm sure these guys got this bar from me, because no one else talking this one, but anyway, the game plan should have been Dubois. We're going to go, or at least start with Dubois. We know Joe's got a great engine. We know Zhang hasn't got a great engine. I was saying from the beginning, if you're going to fight Zhang, we've got a great engine. He hasn't got a great engine. Why are you going to try and run forward in the first 6 rounds? The first 6 rounds should have been, let's get the jab going. Forget about anything else, unless it's on a plate. Forget about anything else. We know we don't really like southpaws too much. Let's get comfortable. We know Joe's got probably one of the best jabs in the world. Let's get the jab going. Let's not just jump in and start slapping away 5-punch combinations with our chops in the air. Especially when it's one thing, yeah. If Joe came marching forward against Zhang and just was slapping him all over the ring, I get why you're doubling down on that. But Joe had the worst start in his career, out on his feet in round 2, and Salas is sending him back out there to do more of the same. There was no advice. There was no, Joe, in round 3, all I want to see you do is jab and move your feet and dance. Joe comes out in round 3 instead. Wading forward, I didn't see Joe take a back step. In the Dubois fight, he was dancing. He was getting his jab off and then pulling back. I didn't see him pull back once. It was straightforward Juggernaut. That's what Salas was saying, and that's what Joe was doing. The training shoddy. And then I heard Joe in this interview say, the interviewer says, Joe, have you spoke to Salas? He goes, well, I haven't really spoke to him. What? And that's the problem with these old school trainings, yeah, they get a lot of clout, but I think most of it is to do with the fighter. If you get what I'm saying. If you've got a great fighter, and you're a crap trainer, you just get credit for it. It's a bit like Terence Crawford's trainer. Everyone give him credit, but really, I think most of it's probably just Crawford. You know what I mean? It's one of them ones. Because the fact of the matter is, yeah, for me personally, if I'm training someone and we have that kind of performance, there's no way we haven't spoke for a month. There's just no way. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? Are we just collecting checks? Or are we really passionate about this game? Especially, I'm sorry, but especially these older trainers as well. I don't know. I think these older ones, they're not jaded, but they become, it's a loss. Fighters lose all the time. I wonder how much someone can really be invested if you've got 10 top world champion fighters, yeah, how much can you really be invested in any of them? The money's rolling in regardless. And a lot of these fighters seem to be cucked as well. In as much as they seem to have this undying loyalty to their trainers. Meanwhile, your trainer ain't spoke to you for a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's mad. Joe said, well, I couldn't speak to him because of the time difference. Trainer, get your ass up, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what should. Your client who's just lost, he's what's important here. Not your sleep. Get up, 100%. And if you're too old to get up, retire. But again, it's not Ismail Salas' fault. He's taking free money. It's these fighters' fault for enjoying being cucked. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I said to him, man, listen, you're leaky. And he said, yeah, but you haven't trained no world champions. Oh, okay. Okay then. You know what I mean? It's one of them ones. I don't believe you need to have trained a world champion to know running into a brick wall for 7 rounds and getting your cherry popped. Zhang popped your cherry, bottom line. Zhang popped Joe Joyce's cherry, unfortunately. And it was unnecessary as well. There was no game plan. Joe confirmed it. How can you be in camp for 6 months and have no game plan? How can everyone know, world champion trainer or not, how can everyone know Zhang gasses? And you're in there like Rambo from round 1. And it wasn't even a good Rambo. It wasn't a Mike Tyson Rambo or a Canelo or old Canelo Rambo where you got your hands up and you're looking to do some damage. He was in there just slapping away with chin in the air. Slapping, literally. Shots were slapping. Zhang's face had nothing on it. Zhang looked like he'd been in a sparring session with Edgar on. Truth be known. And yet, when you look at the punch stats, Joe was putting out about 80 punches a round. How can a 250, 60 pound man be putting 80 punches a round out and your opponent ain't got a mark on him? And your eye will bust up. No adjustments. There was literally not one adjustment. Not in strategy, not in anything. Joe from round 1 ran forward into shots and did it until it was over. I just don't understand that. I don't get that one. The game plan's there. And Joe said, I couldn't really land my jab. Well, one of the things about boxing, if you can't land your jab, you're not going to land you know what I'm saying? Like, the jab is the most risk-averse punch to land. It's the shot you can get off and usually stay out of the way. Well, what we know for sure is hooks are short range, uppercuts are short range. So if you can't land your jab, what are you doing trying to slap 5 punch combinations in? I can't understand that. And I can't understand how you've gone backwards from the Dubois fight as well. Dubois, you was in there, your jab was going. Yes, he did throw over shots, but the mainstay was a jab. Get in, get out. Do that for 6 rounds. If you've touched him all over, and he's starting to fade in round 7 or 8, then you can start running forward with your chin and chops in there if you want. It just shows, the whole lot shows a lack of, truth be known, professionalism, got to be honest. Especially at this level. We're talking about, I assume, Salah's is getting paid 6 figures. And this is what they come up with. Oh, Juggernaut, Joe, go Juggernaut. That's what he was shouting from the corner. Go Juggernaut, Joe, go Juggernaut. Honestly, I'm sorry, man. It's laughable. I've got to be real here, man. Oh, but you're a world champion trainer. Okay, a world champion trainer tells you to run into a wall. You go and you go and do it. That's essentially what happened here. These I'm sorry, but a lot of these old school trainers, yeah, they're living on things they did back in the 70s with good fight, or whenever it was, with good fighters who were already good. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel a lot of this thing works. It's a bit like AJ and Rob McCracken, for example. AJ really was never the same after he left Tony Sims, truth be known. McCracken turned him into that oh, I'm scared to get touched. And really looking at Tony Sims, yeah, Conor Benn might be juiced, but even when you look at Joe Cordina, or even John Ryder, that was, you know what I mean? John Ryder, Joe Cordina, Conor Benn, that is like the old AJ style. So a good trainer does matter, clearly. And a bad one, that's what I'm saying. A good trainer, it's evident. Yeah? You can see how Tony Sims has imprinted on Conor Benn, Cordina, and John Ryder. And I'm trying to think, what? Okay, so you've been with Ismail Salas for 5 years, or however many years. Where's the improvements? Because what people have to remember as well, yeah, is the fact that, what was it? Joyce, I believe, the reason he's been getting away with what he's been doing, the reason he looked good against Joe Parker, is because he's a 6'6" man, fighting people who are 5'2". Now, anyone who's boxed knows, when you're a bigger man, you get that extra inch or 2, or half a foot of breathing space. Joe can be messy against Parker, because you've got that. When you've got bird's eye view, trust me, try boxing someone. Obviously, try boxing someone a similar level to you, but you're 4 inches taller. You just get, it's a different ball game. The timing, and you can be a little bit sloppier when you have that height advantage of someone your own level. And that's what I believe. That's how I believe Joe's been getting away with it. Now the problem was Zhang coming in 6'8", and he's faster. Joe lost that whole, you know what I'm saying? He lost that whole edge he had. And even, to be honest, even Takama and Parker, they were still hitting him. But I believe his attributes enabled him to get out of the way more than it did for Zhang. Because for this fight, Joe was the one punching up. For this fight, Joe was the one taking heavy shots. For this fight, Joe was the one, the smaller man, in terms of weight as well. Combine that with no strategy. Combine that with the gas of the Juggernaut. And this is how you know, yeah. This is how you know there's something wrong. When your trainer's shouting, go Juggernaut. That's what this world champion trainer has to offer. Go Juggernaut. Who can't do that? You could, I'm telling you now, yeah. You could have grabbed anyone from that stadium and they could have told Joe to do that. Yeah, you don't need to train world champions to tell someone, go Juggernaut. A man in a pub, go Juggernaut. Yeah? 2 drunk dudes fighting, go Juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, again, I'm going to say now, I guess, well, I don't know what to say, but yeah, I don't like what I'm hearing here. I don't like what I'm hearing. I don't like what I heard here, but it is what it is, man. Joe's a grown man, 38-year-old or whatever, and he'll make the right choices for himself. I think the Zhang fight's winnable, but again, they've had 5 years to work on things, and he's doing the same things he's been doing. There's an old saying, if a clock ain't broke, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, if it's broke, definitely fix it. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, and let off the bell.